Hey everybody, welcome to what I am calling our Living With and Learning From project. And as part of that project, I chose to spend time with Jack Kornfield. And just to kind of touch on a few things that were helpful to me, Jack Kornfield spends a lot of time talking about how Buddhist principles can help with things like mental states, which has been a big study for me, especially over the last couple years. And I'll share a little bit about that in just a moment. But for sure, I was taking copious notes like, okay, what are the healthy ones and the unhealthy ones, and how do we move towards the healthy ones? And then I went to his Spirit Rock website, which is actually not even his. It's like a bunch of people that kind of collaborate together on this retreat center. And there was just pages and pages of ways in which they are working to honor life. And I was reading that particular stuff right as we were doing our Indigenous module. And so all of that was shaping and bringing meaning into my life. But among the things that stuck out most for me came across not in all of the teachings and interviews, but actually in the meditations. I started to notice that he had this cadence. He would get to the end of something and he would say, "You can know." And it became this kind of empowering statement. And I started to read everything else I was studying about him and with this tone in mind, with this "you can." So it started to kind of seep into every "you can" statement that I was reading, as if to say, you can do these things, even the things that you thought were too difficult to do, you can. And so I have found it helpful at this stage in my life because I have been kind of butting up against for the last several years the many ways in which maybe it's not possible to do everything that I can imagine. I can imagine a lot of things, but I have this kind of limited capacity. And so even as COVID was happening, on one hand, there was struggle, right? Because there was all the stuff that I needed to take care of and be responsible for that I had not needed to be responsible for, like helping my children with their education. But on the other side of that, it was like everything stopped. And it became this super helpful, much needed, extended pajama day. Like, we really did spend a lot of time in pajamas and on purpose. And we watched sunsets and we drank coffee and we just waited to see sometimes if we had energy for anything else or not. And I just felt really stingy with myself. And so that was kind of my story. It was like my story for probably a year and a half. And then the turn of the year was happening. And we're doing all these studies, which have been so helpful in shaping and healing. And as this turn of the year happened, it was kind of like I sensed an opening really inside of myself, where suddenly things became broader and more spacious again. And it seemed as though I could embrace both the limited me and the limitless me, that they could both exist together somehow, and that was okay. It was kind of like Kornfield's "you can know" started to expand for me into something larger. Not only can I know, I can all kinds of things. And so I wrote this meditation that I want to share with you, and I hope that it will be as empowering for you as it has been for me as I was writing it. As I was writing it, I just felt like so much joy welled up inside of me. It made me completely giddy, and I hope to be able to share a little bit of that with you now. And so as we begin, I thought we could begin with this interspiritual meditation chant that we have possibly learned together. But feel free to settle in a little bit. May we be happy and healthy. May we be grateful. May we be transformed, loving and compassionate, mindful through our breathing, wise in meditation. May we be in service to all. You are alive. Take a moment to breathe that in, to literally take life into your body by way of your breath. Allow the breath to reach all the way down to the tips of your fingers and your toes. And when you exhale, exhale with great joy, allowing the weights that you are carrying to be put down for a bit. And after having taken a few good breaths like that, allow the breath to settle naturally again. And allow your body to settle comfortably. Maybe even take a moment scanning for any areas within yourself that are not yet resting gently. And if at any time in this meditation a small smile should come to the corners of your mouth, allow the small smile to come. Because after all, you are alive, here and now, in this present moment. Take time to be here in this space and to embrace the beauty of being alive. Today, we sit with the phrase, "You can." Many of us know all too well the feeling of being limited. But in fact, we live in a world that is full of paradoxes, a world where our small self experiences limits. But our small self is not the only story. There is also our spirit self. And the spirit within is limitless, beyond time, beyond the understandings of this world. And together, the small self and the spirit self create paradox. We are both limited and limitless, all at the same time. And so today, we embrace you can. To begin, you can acknowledge. You can acknowledge the full range of your emotions. You can acknowledge both your disappointments and your triumphs. You can acknowledge your desires and your contentedness. Let's take a moment to notice what would like to be acknowledged right now. And not only can you acknowledge, you can know. You can know the moments that changed your life. And you can know that you are changing another's life. You can know so many things. And so we pause here together. What do you know right now? You can acknowledge, you can know, and you can also become. You can evolve and change. You can experience metamorphosis. You can learn and grow day after day and season after season. And so we ask ourselves, in what ways have I experienced transformation recently? With heart wide open, as if pointed towards the sun, you can be free. You can be forgiven. And you can forgive. You can see with spiritual eyes the light of all that is around you. You can hear with compassionate ears the story that needs to be told. You can marvel at the continual change that is going on in everyone and everything. And in all of it, you can let go. Let's take some time to let go now. You who are filled with light and love, you can make a difference. You can improve the world one act of goodness at a time. You can encourage the life of another. You can tend to the things that are before you. you can pause. And in the pause, you can be empowered. Let us be empowered together. May we be happy and healthy. May we be grateful. May we be transformed, loving and compassionate, mindful through our breathing, wise in meditation. May we be in service to all.